It's hard to believe when your father looks at you and can't remember your name. He recognizes the face, knows that he should know you, but the word has disappeared. 6,900,000 Americans live with it every day. By 2050, this figure will reach 13 million. Modern medicine offers pills that barely slow down the inevitable. Corporations spend billions on treatments that require brain surgery. 1,400 years ago, Chinese emperors used one mushroom. They called it a divine medicine forbidden to commoners. Modern science confirms its ability to restore dying neurons. You can grow it in your backyard and restore your father's mind. Modern medicine calls this neurodegeneration. The human term is identity eraser. Your brain contains 86 billion neurons, and every memory, every skill, every piece of who you are exists as a network of connections between those cells. In Alzheimer's disease, these connections are broken one after another. The process begins in the hippocampus, the memory center, where neurons become silent forever. Protein tangles block signals. Amyloid plaques accumulate like rust on the machinery of the mind. First, you forget where you put your keys. Then yesterday's conversations. Then your granddaughter's face. Eventually, you forget that you ever had a granddaughter. The doctor prescribes Donepezil, which does not restore dying neurons or clear plaques. Imagine your house is on fire, and firefighters arrive with a fan to push away some of the smoke. The house is still burning. The fan only makes it easier to breathe while you watch the crash. This is what modern medicine offers: managing symptoms and accepting the inevitable. Just what if neurons can be restored? What if eraser can be reversed? This isn't science fiction. It's nerve growth factor, a protein your brain uses to build and maintain neurons. In 618 AD, doctors kept detailed records in the forbidden archives of the Tang dynasty. Ginseng for vitality, rei for longevity, and a mushroom so powerful that its possession by commoners was punishable by death. They called it Hutu, monkey head mushroom. The texts are specific and ruthlessly precise. Elderly officials experiencing memory loss were treated with this particular mushroom. Scientists preparing for imperial exams used it to sharpen mental clarity, and the results were recorded in medical treatises. For 13 centuries, it was not a folk remedy, but an imperial protocol. In the mountains of Japan, the Buddhist monks of the Yamabushi sect knew this secret under a different name. They called the mushroom Yamabushiake after their order and brewed it into tea before meditations that lasted days. Monks reported sharper concentration and the ability to hold complex philosophical concepts without mental fatigue. Europeans saw this mushroom as a curiosity. The East knew it was medicine. In addition, violation of the imperial ban on a hot entailed not just execution, but public beheading. Such cruelty indicated the true value of the mushroom in the eyes of the ruling dynasty. Emperors guarded cognitive longevity as a state secret, and death awaited those who dared to steal the divine medicine. Only in 1994 did the world understand why the emperors guarded this mushroom so fiercely. Hyokazu Kawagishi, a researcher at the University of Shizuoka, isolated strange molecules from lion's mane mycelium. When he tested them on nerve cells, the results shocked the scientific community. The discovery appeared in the journal Tetrahedron Letters with a headline that revolutionized neuroscience. Two families of compounds, hericins and arinins, stimulated the production of nerve growth factor. Nerve growth factor is a protein that the brain uses to build and maintain neurons, and healthy young brains have a lot of it. In the aging brain, especially those affected by Alzheimer's disease, levels of nerve growth factor drop dramatically. Without it, connections die. Memories disappear. Personality dissolves. Kawagishi discovered something incredible. Arenas could do something most molecules couldn't: cross the blood-brain barrier. Once inside the brain, they caused astrocytic cells to produce more nerve growth factor. The neurons responded immediately. They grew new branches, extended connections, and formed fresh pathways. This was not a theory, but measurable neuronal regeneration confirmed in laboratories around the world. 15 different Aranaxin compounds have been identified since then. Aranaxin A was the most potent. At a concentration of just 1 microgram per milliliter, it increased the secretion of nerve growth factor by more than 60%. In 2008, researchers at Hokkaido University decided to translate ancient knowledge into modern clinical trials. They recruited patients between the ages of 50 and 80 with mild cognitive impairment, the stage before full-blown Alzheimer's disease. Half received lion's mane extract daily. Half received a placebo. 16 weeks later, the results appeared in the journal Phytotherapy Research, and the data was irrefutable. Patients who took lion's mane showed significant improvements in cognitive function scores. Memory has improved. The speed of information processing has increased, and concentration has increased. However, when they stopped taking the mushroom, the improvements disappeared within 4 weeks. The monks did not experience the placebo effect. The emperors did not rely on superstition. They stimulated the nerve growth factor. Moreover, additional studies in Malaysia confirmed the results in a larger sample. 400 patients with dementia were given lion's mane extract for a year, and 70% experienced a slowdown in cognitive decline. They did, in 618 AD, what pharmaceutical companies are still trying to figure out in 2025. Which is why the obvious question is, if the mushroom can do this, why doesn't every neurologist prescribe it to their patients? When research made it into major journals in the 90s, pharmaceutical companies saw potential in the hundreds of billions of dollars. Alzheimer's disease affects 6,900,000 Americans, with global cases of dementia exceeding 55 million. A treatment that actually regenerates dying neurons would cost more than gold. Lion's mane has been used in traditional Chinese medicine for 1,400 years and grows wild throughout Asia, Europe, and North America. Anyone can cultivate it. No company can claim exclusive rights. Pharmaceutical companies did what they always do. They tried to recreate the effect synthetically. In 2001, neuroscientist Mark Toshirky from the University of California at San Diego launched the first clinical trial, not with a lion's mane, but with gene therapy. The plan was to genetically modify patients' own cells to produce nerve growth factor, then surgically implant those cells directly into the brain. 8 patients with Alzheimer's disease underwent the procedure. Neurosurgeons drilled into their skulls. The results appeared in the journal Natural Medicine in 2005. Brain scans showed increased metabolic activity with neurons responding to the implanted nerve growth factor. The cost per patient exceeded $100,000 plus complete brain surgery with all the risks of drilling into the skull. Tashki continued for 14 years, and by 2015, he had autopsy data on 10 patients. The results published in the journal JAMA Neurology confirmed that neurons could respond to nerve growth factor even in advanced Alzheimer's disease. Axons sprouted and cells grew, but the delivery method remained invasive, expensive, and impractical. You can't do brain surgery on 6,900,000 Americans. The pharmaceutical company Srayan thought it had found a better approach. They had developed CE-110, a viral vector to deliver nerve growth factor genes without implanting cells. Instead of surgery to insert modified cells, they injected a virus carrying nerve growth factor instructions. The approach still required drilling into the skull and was still fundamentally invasive. The Phase 2 trial took place from 2010 to 2013. 49 patients with mild to moderate Alzheimer's disease received treatment. Lead researcher Lon Schneider tracked cognitive scores for 24 months and the trial failed. Results published in 2018 showed no statistically significant improvement compared to placebo. The virus did not spread far enough, reaching some neurons but missing critical cell populations. The cost of the failed test exceeded $30 million, and the lion's mane continued to grow on oak logs for a $40 investment. Walk into any pharmacy and head to the brain health section. CVS, Walgreens, Walmart. The section stretches 6 meters. The bottles promise improved memory, keen concentration, cognitive clarity. Count how many contain lion's mane. Maybe 3. Buried on the lower shelves. No big marketing, no celebrity campaigns. Now count the synthetic nootropics, Alpha Brain, Mind Lab Pro, Nootropics Depot, Prevagen, dozens of brands, millions of dollars in advertising, premium shelf placement. This is not an accident. This is pure economics. The global nootropics market reached $4.6 billion in 2024. Growth is predicted to reach $9.4 billion by 2031. 82% of this market is made up of synthetic compounds. A bottle of 60 capsules containing isolated alpha-GPC costs $3 to produce and sells for $39.99. The markup is 1,200%. Patents protect the formula, production is scalable, and profitability is enormous. Lion's mane works through a symphony of compounds. 15 inosines, beta-glucans, and polysaccharides work together. You can't isolate one thing, patent it, and charge a premium price for exclusivity. The mushroom must be used as a whole, which means there is no exclusivity, patent protection, or monopoly pricing. In 2023, the top 5 nootropic brands spent $47 million on marketing. How much was spent on research on the lion's mane? $0. The industry wants you to spend your entire life buying pills to manage your symptoms. They don't want you to know about a multi-year solution that you can grow yourself. This is the part they really hate the most. A single hardwood log, oak, maple, beech, or birch properly inoculated with lion's mane spores will produce mushrooms for 5 to 7 years. One log yields 4.5 to 7 kilograms annually. Fresh lion's mane sells for $20 per kilogram. That's $200 of brain regeneration medicine every year from one log. Your total investment is $30 for the spore plugs, $10 for the beeswax, and 1 day of labor. The mushroom cultivation industry has known this since 1988, when China first reported successful artificial cultivation. Japanese manufacturers perfected log inoculation in the 90s. Cornell University has published detailed growing guides in the 2000s. The information has been available for 35 years, but you never heard about it because no one is profiting from teaching people how to grow their own. Drill holes in a diamond pattern around the log. Insert spore plugs containing lion's manicilium and seal with beeswax. Stack the logs in the shade where they receive natural rainfall, and cascading porcini mushrooms will appear within 6 months to 2 years. Long flowing spines that taste like fresh lobster. Harvest when the thorns reach 1 and 12 centimeters in length. Mushrooms bear fruit twice a year in spring and autumn for 5 to 7 years in a row. Compare this to buying supplements. A month's supply of quality lion's mane extract costs $30 to $45. 12 months cost $360 to $540. 7 years cost $2,523,780. Or spend $40 one time and grow your own for 7 years. It's a multi-year model that horrifies subscription-based businesses. One-time investment, multi-year return, no recurring revenue. Pharmaceutical companies can't profit from this, and neither can supplement manufacturers. That's why they sell you pills instead of knowledge. Your father continues to forget your name while the industry makes billions from managing his decline. The emperors chose the mushroom. The monks chose the mushroom. The neurons chose regeneration when they received nerve growth factor. Your father is 72 years old. Maybe he has 5 good years, maybe 10 if he's lucky. Right now, he's in the early stages. Sometimes forgets names, repeats stories, gets confused about days of the week. Your doctor says that this is normal aging, prescribes Donepezil, and warns that the drug only slows down the process. It doesn't stop. It doesn't reverse. It just slows down the inevitable. You watch his decline month after month, wondering how long it will be until he completely forgets who you are. There was something. There is something. Buddhist monks in mountain monasteries knew this 400 years ago. The imperial doctors who treated elderly officials understood the principle of action. Modern neuroscience has confirmed this with peer-reviewed studies in major journals. A mushroom that stimulates nerve growth factor, regenerates dying neurons, and restores connections destroyed by dementia. The science is compelling. Clinical trials show improvement, and the mechanism is well understood. Arin acids cross the blood-brain barrier, trigger the production of nerve growth factor, and stimulate the growth of neurons. But science does not control industries. Profits do. There is more profit in 30 million failed gene therapy trials than in confirming what emperors have been using for 13 centuries. There is more profit in lifetime subscriptions to synthetic pills than in teaching people how to grow mushrooms on logs. The choice facing your father is not medical. It is economic. The treatment exists. The industry just makes more money if he never finds out about it. You can continue to pay $40 a month for capsules that can slow its decline. You can wait until pharmaceutical companies improve delivery systems through brain surgery. You can watch it disappear as researchers chase patents. Or you can inoculate the log. The emperors chose the mushroom. The monks chose the mushroom. The neurons chose regeneration. The industry chose profit. What will you choose for your father? What will you choose for your own future? Nature holds solutions that the modern world has forgotten or deliberately buried under layers of corporate interests. Lion's mane is just one plant among thousands that have the power to change medicine. Ancient civilizations knew secrets that we are rediscovering in laboratories at the cost of millions of dollars. Chinese emperors used ginseng to prolong life when Western medicine still bled patients. Indian shamans treated depression with plants. The mechanism of action of which we only understood in the 21st century. Tibetan monks used adaptogens for endurance long before the invention of synthetic stimulants. If you want to uncover more lost knowledge that the modern world has forgotten, subscribe to Nature's Lost Vault. We are building a library of plants that can save us one episode at a time. The next issue will tell you even more interesting facts that you never even knew.